When you rank natural resources, few rank higher than water. Water is life. Our very existence depends on clean, drinkable water. Not only do we rely on water for survival, but we also use it to beautify our world and improve our quality of life. But this resource can unknowingly become contaminated needlessly through our everyday activities. Once a water supply is contaminated, it becomes very difficult and at times even impossible to clean it up. That's why the Tex A Syst Groundwater Protection Program was developed. The Tex A Syst program is a series of self-assessment bulletins and videos intended to protect the groundwater that people use for drinking water. They're designed to help you identify potential sources of contamination and develop methods to best manage any high risk associated with your property. They also address environmental policies, regulations, and recommended procedures known as Best Management Practices, or BMPs. I'm Kirk Cisco, and today I'd like to discuss with you the dangers of liquid petroleum products and what you can do to protect yourself and your groundwater supply from petroleum contamination. Benzene, toluene, and xylene are all potentially toxic compounds found in petroleum fuels. Storing liquid petroleum products such as motor fuel and heating fuel above ground or underground presents a potential threat to public health and the environment. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, nearly 1 out of every 4 underground storage tanks in the United States may now be leaking. If an underground petroleum tank is more than 20 years old, especially if it is not protected against corrosion, the potential for leaking increases dramatically. A gasoline leak of 1 drop per second can result in the release of about 400 gallons of gasoline per year. A few quarts of gasoline are all it takes to severely pollute drinking water. Preventing tank spills and leaks is especially important because gasoline, diesel, and fuel oil can move rapidly through surface layers and into groundwater. The time it takes petroleum products to reach groundwater depends on several factors. Porous soil like sand and gravel allow fast movement. Heavy soils like clay can slow the process but will not prevent contamination. A tank's location also makes a difference. State regulations require petroleum storage tanks to be at least 100 feet from a water well, and if possible, the tank should be located downslope from the well. This will help prevent contamination in case of a large spill or accident. Most problems arise not from major spills, but tank leakage. This is especially true of underground tanks. Highly corrosive clays, wet soils, and acidic soils can significantly increase the rate of corrosion of underground metal tanks and piping. Leaks will not only contaminate groundwater, but highly combustible gasoline vapors can collect in basements, sumps, or other underground structures and become a fire hazard. All tanks, whatever the age, should be tested for leaks. This can be done by installing internal or external devices that measure groundwater contamination and vapor losses. Measuring losses with a measuring stick will not detect small leaks. And if small leaks are detected, replacement is the best corrective action. Since all new petroleum storage tanks are non-metallic with interior liners, corrosion and other problems are reduced. New underground tanks also have catch basins for collecting spills and a buzzer or automatic shut-off device to prevent overfilling. Both of these devices prevent pollution from a number of small releases over a long period of time. Replacing an older or leaking tank can solve your immediate problems, but does not cure the problem entirely. Corroding tanks no longer in use will continue to release gas or oil. State law requires that certified individuals remove unused tanks. Removing a tank yourself is against the law and dangerous. Explosion or other problems can occur because of improper closure. Up to now, our primary targets have been underground tanks, but above-ground tanks have similar problems. Though leaks in above-ground tanks are more easily detected, usually they are ignored. Remember, all leaks are hazardous over time. State regulations for above-ground tanks include enclosing the tank within a secure 6-foot fence or well-ventilated building constructed of non-combustible materials and constructing a firewall between the fuel dispensing area and the tank. To decrease pollution potential, tanks are placed within a secondary containment structure consisting of a dike and pad. All piping should be above ground within the dike or may go over the dike wall. It must be placed below the ground and within 10 feet of the dike wall. Above ground piping must be made of steel and coated to prevent corrosion. Any below ground piping may be either steel or fiberglass, but steel piping must be coated and cathodically protected. And protect yourself against explosion and fire. No tank above or below ground should be closer than 25 feet to an existing building. Vapors can accumulate under nearby storage buildings, creating a fire and health hazard for you and workers. Whether your tank is above or below ground, test it periodically for leaks. Measure the tank's inventory on a monthly basis. Be especially aware of the age of the tank as well as the need to establish a leak detecting program. Remember not to ignore unused tanks. They can remain a hazard, and legally, they should be removed or rendered safe. If you need additional information on the proper storage of petroleum, contact the Soil and Water Conservation District or County Extension Office in your area and ask for Tex A Syst Bulletin Number B6027. The Tex A Syst Rural Well Water Assessment videos and publications were produced through a cooperative effort of the Texas State Soil and Water Conservation Board, the Texas Agricultural Extension Service, the Texas Agricultural Experiment Station, the Texas Natural Resource Conservation Commission, the United States Department of Agriculture Natural Resource Conservation Service, and the United States Environmental Protection Agency.